Welcome to this explainer. Okay, if you're a houseplant enthusiast, I just know you've locked eyes with today's subject across a crowded plant nursery and fallen instantly in love. I'm talking, of course, about the Calathea Orbifolia. It is an absolutely breathtaking tropical masterpiece, but let's be honest with ourselves, it definitely comes with a reputation for being a completely demanding diva. Well, today we are going to break down exactly how to master the care of this incredible plant. If you've ever owned one, this question has probably haunted you. Why do those beautiful, giant leaves always seem to get those terrible, crispy, brown edges? It's honestly the most notorious struggle plant parents face with this specific species. But don't worry, you are in the right place. In this explainer, we hold the exact solutions to banish those crispy edges for good. All right, let's dive right into our roadmap for today. First, we'll officially meet the diva. Then we'll cover the environmental non-negotiables, walk through routine maintenance, talk about propagation, do a little troubleshooting, and wrap it all up with some essential pro tips. Starting off with Section 1, meet the tropical diva, the Calathea Orbifolia. Its massive appeal really comes down to those large, perfectly round, silver-green striped leaves. It's a total statement piece, no flowers required. Now let's talk about the term nyctinasty. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it describes an incredibly fascinating scientific trait. The Orbifolia is part of a family commonly known as prayer plants, and this is exactly why. They actually move in response to the day and night cycle. So during the day, the leaves lay flat to soak up the sun, but at night, specialized joints at the base of the leaves cause them to fold upwards, literally resembling hands in prayer. Watching this movement is actually a fantastic indicator that you have a healthy, active plant responding properly to its environment. Here is a quick rundown of the plant's profile. You can expect this beauty to reach a height and spread of about 2 to 3 feet with a moderate growth rate. As a perennial, it'll live for many years if you treat it right. But honestly, here is the absolute biggest bonus, especially for those of us with furry friends running around. Despite its intimidating diva reputation, it is 100% non-toxic, completely safe for cats and dogs.
Moving right along to Section 2, the non-negotiables. This covers light, water, and humidity.
Okay. Pay super close attention here, because mastering these next environmental factors is literally the only way you are going to avoid those dreaded crispy edges we talked about earlier. 60%. I want you to burn this number into your memory. 60% or higher is the golden rule for your humidity levels. Because this is a true tropical plant, moist air is just an absolute requirement to keep those delicate leaves pristine. Now, a lot of people try to achieve this by misting their plants, but honestly, misting is only a very temporary fix. To hit that golden rule consistently, a dedicated humidifier is by far your most reliable method. And this brilliantly illustrates our next point, water quality. Calatheas are famously sensitive to what is actually in their water, making tap water the #1 enemy of this plant. The everyday minerals, salts, chlorine, and fluoride found in tap water will slowly build up in the soil and directly cause those brown, crispy leaf edges. To keep this plant happy, you absolutely must use filtered water, distilled water, or rainwater. Then we have light. To understand what this plant wants, you kind of have to think about where it comes from. In its native Bolivian rainforest, the Orbifolia grows way down on the floor, tucked under a really dense tree canopy. Because of that, direct, intense sunlight will literally scorch, burn, and fade those beautiful leaves. You want to replicate that natural canopy by providing bright, indirect light, something like an east-facing window, or maybe light filtered through a sheer curtain. Just be sure to avoid both direct sun and very low light, because low light is just going to cause weak, sad growth. Let's move into Section 3, routine maintenance. We're talking soil, feeding, and pruning. These are the daily and seasonal care routines required to keep your plant pushing out fresh, symmetrical growth. And, well, it all starts in the pot. A standard, out-of-the-bag potting mix is almost always way too dense for an Orbifolia. They need soil that stays consistently moist, but never, ever gets waterlogged. This DIY recipe is perfect for that. You want 2 parts peat moss or coco coir to hold on to that essential moisture, 1 part perlite to ensure the water drains properly, and a handful of orchid bark to create little air pockets so the roots can actually breathe. Now, as for feeding, you want to provide a diluted, balanced fertilizer about every 4 to 6 weeks, but only during the active growing season. When it comes to watering, just check the soil every few days and only water when the top inch feels dry to the touch.
Oh, and for pruning, don't be afraid to snip. If you see any yellowing or hopelessly brown leaves, just chop them off right down at the base of the stem. That way, the plant can redirect all its energy back into pushing out healthy new growth.
All right, Section 4, Propagation. Let's see how this builds into creating entirely new plants. So, unlike your trusty pothos or a philodendron, you can't just take a simple stem or leaf cutting from an orbifolia, throw it in a glass of water, and hope for the best. It requires a completely different approach. The only successful method here is division, and you should really only do this to a healthy, mature plant. Here's how you do it. Step 1. Wait until it's time for a spring repotting, which is usually every 1 to 2 years. Step 2. Gently remove the plant from its pot and tease the soil away to expose the thick underground roots. Those are called rhizomes. Step 3. Carefully separate those clumps, making absolutely sure that each new section has its own root system and at least 2 to 3 leaves. Finally, Step 4. Pot them up separately in that fresh, airy DIY soil mix we just talked about. Section 5. Troubleshooting. It's time for defeating the villains. Look, even with the absolute best care, things can go wrong. But the really good news here is that Calatheas are excellent communicators. They will quickly and visibly let you know if they're unhappy. So the crucial point is just learning how to read those signs. For instance, if you see those brown, crispy edges, remember, it's not a disease, it's an environmental failure. You either have low humidity or you're using tap water. The quick fix is boosting that humidity to 60% and switching to filtered water. Now, what about yellowing leaves? That's almost always overwatering. You are quite literally suffocating the roots. Just let the top inch of soil dry out. Finally, if the leaves are curling inwards like little tubes, the plant is desperately thirsty and trying to conserve whatever moisture it has left. You need to give it a thorough watering immediately.
And then, unfortunately, we have the actual villains, the pests. You'll want to keep an eye out for mealybugs hiding in the plant's crevices and thrips, which tend to leave weird silvery patches. But I really have to warn you, spider mites are the ultimate villain for this specific plant. They cause this stippled, faded appearance on the leaves and leave behind really fine webbing. But here is the secret. Spider mites absolutely thrive when the air is dry. Because of this, maintaining that high, consistent 60% humidity is actually your absolute best defense against an infestation.
And finally, Section 6. Pro tips for pristine foliage. These are the expert-level habits that separate a plant that is merely surviving from one that is absolutely thriving and dominating your space. Let's rapid-fire summarize these golden rules. First, humidity is everything. Keep it at 60% or higher. Second, ditch the tap water entirely. Seriously, just stop using it. Third, those massive leaves will aggressively reach for the sun, so make sure you rotate the pot a quarter turn every single week to keep the plant growing nice and symmetrically. Fourth, wipe the dust off those giant leaves monthly with a damp cloth so they can actually breathe and absorb light. And finally, never use commercial leaf shine products. I know they might look nice and glossy for a day, but they will actually clog the stomata, which are the vital breathing pores on those beautiful leaves, effectively suffocating your plant. Well, we've decoded the environment, perfected the soil, and unlocked the secrets to keeping those giant striped leaves pristine and healthy. You now have the exact blueprint to confidently care for this magnificent plant. So, I'll leave you with this final thought as you look around your own indoor jungle. Will you master the diva, or will the diva master you? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, happy planting!